Hi people, another quick video. I promise I'll do one. It's a 50-50 split between doing something about the riding kit and something about bikes. Today I'll do the bike side of stuff because of lockdown I've not really got a lot going on other than work, so I've got plenty of free time to do a few more videos over the week, depending obviously on how it goes and if you guys are even enjoying it, so why not. Today I thought I'd do 5 things I don't like, 5 things I do like about the RSV4 RF. I get sometimes people don't have a lot of bad things to say about their own bikes, but I don't care how exclusive, how expensive the bike is. Every bike has good points and bad points. That's just the way of bikes, I guess. I'll start off with the bad points on this. Number 1 for me is definitely the comfort. I get no sports bikes are supposed to be comfy. I totally get that and I understand that. But this is a different level of uncomfortable for me. I'm used to GSXR 1000s. I've been lucky enough to ride the new BMW M Sport, and even the BMW M Sport compared to this was really comfy in terms of weight on the wrist, in terms of the seat not being rock hard. It was just a lot more comfy. I found I could spend a lot more time on it, and I did enjoy the BMW. But again, this is probably very like aimed towards the track, probably more so than the BMW. It doesn't really make many compromises, so I knew it was uncomfortable when I went on it, but it doesn't bother me that much. But on long rides, anything over an hour, it can start to definitely play a part on the comfort level of your wrist and definitely your ass. The next one, which I don't know if it's just this bike, is fuel. As I said, I've had big bikes, and this compared to the other bikes, I don't think it's a V4, it does seem to drink a lot more fuel. I've had a look on the forums, and from what I can gather, a lot of people say the same thing. It does use up more fuel. Again, you don't buy a bike like this for economy, but even I was generally not shocked, but there was a noticeable difference between this and the bikes I've owned before about how much I was filling this up compared to the other bikes. It's not a major one, but it's definitely something I noticed and definitely something I thought I'd mention. Number 3 is servicing cost. Again, you're going to buy an Aprilia, you're going to spend money on a bike that costs this much. Be prepared for big servicing costs, which is fine, it's part of the game. You don't buy a Ferrari and moan about the price of tyres, similar sort of thing. But again, compared to the other bikes I've owned, the servicing costs are a little bit higher. I mean, I think the first service, from what I can remember, was about $260, which wasn't that bad, but it's stuff like the valve clearance on this. I'm hearing, and I've also had a quote from around about over £1,000 for valve clearance on this, which is definitely eye-watering. Granted, it's at 15,000 miles. It's not going to be for a very long time, a very long time, but again, it's something you need to bear in mind when buying these bikes, is that servicing costs can be a little bit higher compared to maybe your Japanese stuff, so it's definitely something worth looking into. And then the next point, which, not to sound like a dick, it doesn't like going slow, and I don't mean that in a sort of, I'm trying to be really cool and say, oh, you got to speed everywhere. It generally doesn't really like going slow. The GSXR, you could get away with maybe keeping it below certain speeds, and it wasn't juddery, it's quite smooth, it will handle pretty much everything you want to throw at it. The Aprilia, it doesn't like going slow. It is quite low down, it can be snatchy, depending on what map you have it on, but they're all quite snatchy, to be fair. It comes into its own once you start opening it up and once you go on open roads, but it's definitely snatchy, borderline aggressive, which I get. Again, that's kind of one of the things I love about it, as much as can be annoying. It's when you're going through the little town sections and when you're going through places that you don't want to go fast, it generally doesn't like it. But again, it's not so much the bike's fault. The bike is doing what the bike does. You know, it wasn't ever built for commuting. But again, it's something, if you're going to be going around town, low speeds, this may not be the sort of thing you want. It really does come into its own once you start getting into them higher speeds, which may not be for everyone's taste. The last negative point I have on this is a bit of a double-edged sword. It's the attention you get on it. I'm not saying it's a super exclusive anymore, because there are a lot of people who have them. They're not crazy exclusive like some bikes out there. And I do get everyone listening to this video, or maybe most people listening to this video, we like attention on our bikes. I mean, most of us have got carbon fibre here, carbon fibre there. We wouldn't do that if we didn't want the attention, and that's totally understandable. We buy bikes because we want the attention, we want to stand out. they're nice. That for most of us, there are our pride and joys, and I get that. The attention on this, when I mean it's a negative thing, is because people don't see a lot of them. You do get a lot of people wanting to ask a lot of questions. A lot of people are very interested in it, and it also sometimes leads to being a little bit paranoid when you leave it in places. I don't leave this many places, but even if you need to run in and grab a cup of coffee somewhere, you do find people are looking at them a lot more. They want to know things, which I love it as much as I hate it. I love it because I love answering questions about bikes, hence why I'm doing this sort of stuff. But also, it does make you a little bit paranoid because they do stand out, and sometimes you don't want the attention. You just want to grab your coffee and go and not answer all these questions. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. But again, it's a double-edged sword. You don't buy a bike like this to blend in. So yeah. Now on to the good parts. There are a lot of good parts about this bike, obviously, why I bought one. But my favourite things about this. Definitely for me, the one big thing that basically swayed me towards this, I was pretty much set on getting a GSX-R 1000 R from Wheels. I was walked in there, I was pretty much ready to go get that in the MotoGP colours. This was at a price which was definitely caught my eye and made me think twice about a GSX-R. Then I rode it. The first thing was the noise. Even with the standard can, there are not many bikes that sound better than this. I was quite shocked about how good the standard can actually sounded on this, to be fair, once the flap opens up after $5,000. But with the Acura on there, with the baffle out, wow. Again, there's probably people out there who don't think this is the best sounding bike there is, but the V4 on this is, to me, it's absolutely amazing. It always makes you smile. It's just, I don't know, you feel it in your chest. It just, I don't know, it's something that's very, very special about the way it sounds. The other thing which I love on this, one of my other favourite things, again, which kind of makes you ride like a bit of an idiot sometimes, is the blipper. The blipper on this is so much fun. Anytime you want to downshift, the blipper and the bang from the back and the gearbox on it, definitely one of my new favourite things, which I didn't know I liked as much as I did until I had to go on it, and then I was like, yeah, I need a blipper. It's so much fun. If you've never tried one, have a go on a bike that does have one. It's not groundbreaking, but it just, again, it's one of them things that it's just fun to have on your bike, so why not? Another big plus point on this, which is again is one of my favourite things, but they're all my favourite things, is the engine. The engine on it, the characteristics of the engine are amazing. You've got this low down grunt, and then you've got this really solid mid-range, and it even carries on up to the top. It just wants to pull everywhere. It's quite an aggressive engine. It's not crazy. I mean, I think these are about 201 horsepower, but we all know once it goes through the back wheel, it's probably a little bit less. But yeah, it's a very aggressive feel. Again, very unique to anything I've been on. It's definitely in a class of its own. I don't mean that in this the fastest. I mean, I know there's faster bikes out there now, but the way it delivers the power generally makes you feel like it's really going for it. Which again, I love. It's theatre. It's a sense of theatre, which I think is one of the reasons what pushed me towards this bike. Really, to be fair. I actually can't remember how many that is now. But I think I'll just keep going for the good points. Again, my biggest thing about this bike is that it was my dream bike. It was one of these bikes I read about in Fast Bikes magazine. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever own one. It just makes you smile. It's just one, and that's probably the biggest plus point about it. You park it anywhere, and you just, again, it's one of them things. If you park your bike and you don't look back, some people say you bought the wrong bike. I kind of agree with that. You've always got to look at it and be like, yeah, I own that, and have a sense of pride about it. They're not cheap to keep on the road. They do cost money, but when you love something this much as any bike really that any of us ride, it's worth it, like 100%. And especially the 2018 RSV4 RF model. It's the one I always wanted. It's the paint job I've always wanted. It has all the O-lins on it. It's all them little bits that growing up you read about in Fast Bikes magazine, that you wanted those bits on your bike, and now you have it. It's generally one of the things that, I don't know, it's a moment you just go, yeah, I own that. So it is definitely cool. I think I'll finish there for this one. But yeah, keep watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I'll do a couple more reviews about leathers in the next video, because I think leather suits are one of those things that we spend a lot of money on as bikers. We really do, and most of us have more than one, but sometimes there's not a great dealer reviews out there. I mean, there are for a few of the more common suits, but I know when I bought my Alpine Stars suit, there wasn't that much info on them, and it can be useful. I mean, you got to know about, do your boots, are they going to fit over the calf, or the calf fits on them? Are they really constrictive? Because some suits have more like material around the calf than others. What sort of sizing, how ventilated it is, how good does the actual design hold up once you actually get it in person. There's a lot to go through, but as I said, I'll cover that in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Again, sorry if it's not 100% brilliant right now. I'm still learning all this sort of stuff, but I am enjoying it. Massive thank you for taking the time out to watch it, and yeah, take care, bye.